Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. No more breaks happening today, or a blue shirt will be burnt in a glory of fire.
What gave you the authority to decide if my shirt gets burned?
The people. The people
The
did.
people?
Yeah, the people voted on it.
I wasn't aware of this vote.
Yeah, I was looking at Twitch chat, and they voted on it.
Might be some stuffed ballots going on in this vote.
No Russian collusion. Silent Purge is going to be on the attack for the first round here on Downfall. Cannon Fodder going to be on the defense, and Cannon Fodder basically already lost the series. Trying to minimize the damage being done to their MMR. And again, when you pretty much already lost the series, there's nothing holding you back anymore. And you can just play kind of wild and crazy, and maybe that's the advantage that Cannon Fodder needs. Stray Jack pushing up immediately here onto these buildings.
Stray Jack just moving right for it to try and get himself some decent cover inside the house here. Probably hold this position for a little bit too, wait for his teammates to join him, or just wait until later on in the round. As overall, as I'm sure you guys can tell, this is a map that is much more difficult to gain any type of positional ground on due to how just open in general. This is like the pure opposite of the other maps that we've played out so far, where there is a decent amount of coverage despite the maps being large. This is a great example of an open map that also has a lot of open territory, so it's very difficult to make any type of movement. And we've seen just that. Cannon Fodder getting surrounded by, or one of their players, I should say, getting surrounded by two from Silent Purge, quickly eliminating him as it left him no room to move.
I think he didn't even need to peek that window. He would have been fine to just stay there and stay hidden, but obviously information is key when it comes to a map like this. And when you're the one defending, you want to be able to punish teams who are pushing across the map towards you. But yeah, when you're susceptible, when you're pretty much in like a small window like that, pretty much can mean it's only one angle you can be shot, or only one angle the attackers have to shoot to. Whereas you, from that position, have to shoot from so many different other, or shoot towards so many different other places. So Stray Jack's trying to figure out where the rest of his teammates are. Trying to make their plan of attack work. And we'll take this building away from Cannon Fodder that they already got the man down earlier on. Even kicking his body for
roll
good
the
measure.
corpse into the corner.
It'd be funny if you actually trip over the corpse. Stray Jack has eliminated himself from the corpse.
It's all going to go quiet for right now. Cannon Fodder just kind of holds their defensive positioning a little bit closer to the uplink there. Now, with this house under their control, Silent Purge do have what they need to make a push towards the uplink. The problem is their other three haven't really made a whole lot of progress looking across the map just yet. They're trying to use this house to feign pressure at Cannon Fodder and keep them hidden, which would, I think, hopefully allow Silent Purge to make a bit of a move here.
And Buxton trying to make sure he doesn't get seen through that window, so he's just going to prone through. And something here, Kev trying to communicate with his players. But unfortunately for him, as we can see, there's no one actually in that building next to him. Doesn't seem like he knows that just yet. Stray Jack going for a couple of shots. Another player has gone down.
I tried to confirm it. I can't see if I confirmed it, so if anyone gets in the hotel.
Unaware if they actually got the kill or not. If you guys could hear that. Does not know if it was a headshot or not, so we're going to be still playing it cautiously and assuming that 4 are still standing on Cannon Fodder for the time being, but they did indeed get to pick up. Big Chuck nail. I don't know if it's going to find impact. Yeah, does just kind of go into the wind there. But again, it's Silent Purge making slow but consistent progress against Cannon Fodder. Now having brought them down to only 3 players standing. And in addition to that, we do finally have Silent Purge starting to make a bit of a crunch towards the uplink.
See, watching games like this really makes me realize that I would never be good in the army or like a war, because I would get so frustrated by campers. Plus, I'm really easy to spot since I'm so tall. Doesn't really go in my favor.
Well, another one from Cannon Fodder is going to fall. And it's Button mainly looking to try and find some type of revenge here now, as he makes a bit of an aggressive push himself into the open. Or at least trying to get closer and closer to that uplink, as all the control is slowly but surely falling over to Silent Purge as they're going to look to take control of the opening round here. And this crossfire could be it too. King of the North does get past them, but he loses his teammate in the process. Purely just trying to defend the uplink at this point, but it won't matter as both of those remaining players from Cannon Fodder do end up going down, and Silent Purge will take the opening round 1-0.
Yeah, once they had like the major men advantage, you just saw them all push in together, making sure to clear out those last players. It's very difficult to hit 3 players like that in quick succession. You know, the time to kill is very low, but just to readjust your aim is very difficult to do. And there you go, Silent Purge, first round on the board. Now up to 9-1. And they're going to be on the defense this time. Actually, I wonder if they're going to get aggressive here, because they seem to be the team of the two who likes to be aggressive.
Might be a bit risky considering the map, however, so I wouldn't be doubtful if they chose to sit back and just play close to the site like we had in this round as well.
That's where like the MMR, like I still don't know really how it fully works in terms of like how much they could potentially win, because I don't know if they can actually climb up any further in the rankings off this victory if they do win in like a heavy fashion. So I don't know. I'm wondering, like, could they actually move up quite far in the rankings to get like top 7 somehow? And looking where they are, I mean, they're rank 11. They're 7-4. That 12-20 and 12-30 is the breaking point for top 7. So obviously, you're gonna take, every round they possibly can to make sure to break through, because we technically could be seeing this team just in a few weeks' time, like on LAN.
Yeah, it just depends on how many points they're able to get for themselves and who and if they push anyone outside of their current ranking due to that increase in points too, as I don't know exactly how it works when teams tie. So it could end up coming down to those tiebreaker conditions as well. Oh, see, we have the birds here. Our observer doing a great job of following those around, actually. But we have reloaded, guys, so going into the second round now, Silent Purge going to look to continue their current success with a successful defending round.
I think it's like spawn basically on top of the uplink. I don't know how far south they do want to run. I would imagine Cannon Fodder want to go up this east side, potentially use the terrain to their advantage. And they're sending one player out very far to the right. Europe and Dobo going to be sticking together, trying to punch through the middle. It's like a 3-man squad. And leaving, I thought there was a 3rd man here. Is there 2 men east then?
There's 1 player from Cannon Fodder.
Oh, yeah, there's 2. Sorry, there's 2 east.
Yeah, they look like 1.
So they're trying to go for a big flank with 2 players. Push 2 up the middle and have 1 sit far back to give information. Gotta potentially cover. Dobo goes for some very early shots over towards the down helicopter. He's gonna have a player in this building next to him.
So you know he's in here, though. UC Death is certainly going to hear him running past him. Gets ready for it and quickly takes him out of the fight. Giving, once again, Silent Purge the advantage. Start of the round.
I'm not sure why you push up so quickly and aggressively like that if you're Cannon Fodder, because you have 2 players going for a long flank, so you need to just buy time and wait for them to get a position to really be helpful. I don't know if that's just impatience out of Cannon Fodder, or if that was actually part of their strategy, was to send 1 player up there, and if he did get kills, great. If he didn't, it wasn't too big of a change in factor of how your strategy would work here in this round. I would imagine, though, it was definitely not the former of those 2.
Well, we are now going to see, again, Silent Purge continuing their wait. However, that wait ends up leading to 1 more player getting knocked out by them. Yeah, we can see definitely some of the longer range scopes going to be coming out to play on this map too, as we just saw one of the players from Cannon Fodder there.
Well, personally did go down for Silent Purge. Could still be rezzed up, though. At least, luckily for him. He's not fully dead just yet. Though I'm not sure exactly where 100% he was downed. I think Timmy. Sorry, I was just imagining him saying Timmy really loud, and this guy in the building would hear him, and then that's what I would say when coming through a doorway. Just scream that. That was my name. Stray Jack's gonna be here to meet him. And Timmy's...
Oh, I guess he died.
Giraffing it.
Yeah. Stray Jack's going to be able to pick him off from inside, although Stray Jack's not done fighting just yet. He's got another teammate of Timmy's here way on the back line above the hill over the top of the mountain there. That is going to be trying to hold the line against him.
That patience. Jon Snow. I will say, though, the ending of the final season was pretty good because now it's like, oh, ramping up.
The most recent one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I don't want to talk details, though. That's the spoiler territory.
If you haven't seen it by now.
Oh, no, I've seen it, yeah. I'm just saying.
In general.
Oh, okay, yeah. Thank you for me.
I don't like what's-her-face, Arya. I don't like her. I don't like her. I also don't like the redheaded sister. She's annoying. Like her whole family is like, she's like killed her entire family because they're trying to get her back. And then she's still like stuck up in a jerk. And now finally she's mellowing out a little bit.
I didn't understand the point of their arc this season, personally. Just give some feedback there. Because they had a whole arc this season, but I didn't get the point of it really.
Oh,
I think you should know what I'm talking about. I just don't want. Yeah, I don't want to be too specific. But regardless, Silent Purge. All of a sudden, the situation's kind of flipped around against them.
Red Wedding up in here.
Yeah.
2 players down for Silent Purge. They're not finished off just yet.
It all seems to be centralized around like this one, or this building and maybe one other building too. It's been a pretty close fight. Although look at this right now.
I'm just imagining Infinity War right now. He's becoming invisible because he's just so still. How is Gamora?
Does not want to make the push down himself, so it is going to be.
Hate to see it.
Cannon Fodder makes the push, and they get the kill instead. Silent Purge down to only 2 now because of that. Where are those 2
What's he doing?
Positioned
Does
at?
he? Okay.
What's up?
I was like, what was he doing? Was like he disconnected or something? He's looking at his tablet. All right, just making a run. Oh my gosh! And the second he leaves the building, he gets lit up on that northeast side. Look at this, Europe.
RPT doing
countdown. Can he do it? He's being sprayed out. RPT's gonna drop from above, and he's actually get the 1-for-1 trade. So that's gonna be a 1-on-1 situation.
1 minute
with
left.
Buxton. Oh, being shot from behind. So now he knows exactly where this player is gonna be. He could potentially go for a res, or he's gonna go for what? Does he not know there's only 1 left? Maybe not.
Try to get the nade out there right now. King of the North, this is going to try to make the run finally to get closer and closer to the uplink, because in theory, his opponent could just sit on the inside and run the timer down. And that might be a smart idea for him. But of course, he does make the push outside at the last second, catches our last man standing from Cannon Fodder at the wrong moment. And even, oh, look at that, he's dancing a little bit with the light after he wins it too. Silent Purge still take control of the situation. Even when it comes down to the wire in a 1v1, they take it, push ahead. Now at 3-0 against Cannon Fodder, only 1 away for the closeout. And with a potential 12-1 sitting in front of them, they are certainly going to want to close it out as quickly as possible to maximize MMR gain.
Speaking of that, I mean, they're going to be attacking, so as fast as possible is going to be all in their hands. If they're going to be able to do it, comes down to if they're going to make the move quickly and aggressively. But I don't know. I think they're still going to play it slow. And I think, to be honest, if you're Silent Purge and you play it slow, I think it shows your composure as a team, you know? You already won the series. You want to get as much MMR as you possibly can to get flown to the UK to play with your buds, to play on a stage, to meet the legendary Blue.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, because we're going to be there casting, you and I.
Oh.
Yeah.
Does that have to be one of the highlights to meet us, though?
Of course.
Yeah?
Why wouldn't that be a highlight?
I don't know. Just didn't think I was a very important person to meet.
Okay, to meet the legendary Jason Kaplan with his real unit of a nose. But either way, I think it's composure. Because in this situation where you're like so close to, or you're so close to closing out the series, but you know in the back of your head, we need to win this round and not give it up. I think it would be a good sign for them as a team and like the maturity. I believe it is 3-0, right? It's not 2-0.
Yes, it is 3-0. Should be 3-0. Oh, here comes the push now. Silent Purge, we'll see how they swing this. It's looking like they're going to take a pretty direct path, however, instead of trying to... You can see one guy going way north just to try and flank around a little bit. But the other 4 are going on a pretty direct path. In fact, we might have a bit of a long-range battle between the 2 teams here because of this. Did I just hear that right?
Yeah, what's wrong with it? Oh, it is 2-0, okay.
Is it?
Yeah, I thought it was 3-0. I thought it was already 2-0 before the score happened.
I could swear it's 3-0. I must be crazy.
I mean, Silent Purge are attacking for the second time, and they attacked first. The first time. Yeah, so it's 2-0. Yeah.
Okay, so we have a
it's
run.
just
All right.
Wow.
So we're just idiots. Or at least I'm an idiot.
No, you can put me on that one.
Yeah,
We
okay.
both are.
I didn't want to assume.
I thought it was 3-0 as well, so. Either way, third round. Silent Purge, oh, just gets lit up. Look at that. Shots towards the left here from King of the North.
So, pretty safe bet that players on Silent Purge are not going to be attempting that one again.
I would assume that King of the North should be being fragged here. He's just stuck behind that wall. He's nowhere to run.
Follow my traces.
Follow my trace. Okay, so he's trying to shoot to show his teammates where he is. Smart play by him.
Can't get him, though. It's too long range for them, I think.
He's also behind the wall.
Yeah.
And no one's close enough to nade him, so just to pretty much ignore him for now, unless they can get a person in position to do something about it.
Not proved easy to get an angle on this guy to try and find the trade. He knows he is locked down, however, so he is just sticking right here to the one angle he knows he can restrict to a 1v1. He can get a kill through there. Great. If he loses it, all right, whatever. We're only down to a 4v4, and I probably did some damage along the way as well.
So fucking lucky with this.
What do you say?
I think he just said it's blanking ridiculous. I think is what I heard him say.
Not sure those shots are going. Not sure I can see now. Remember Silent Purge and Buxton continue to shoot out. They actually lost another player who's been downed.
Buxton under hot fire now as well. He's the only one really in this position still, or is causing this much of a threat to the Cannon Fodder roster. And Silent Purge, again, for some reason, this one single round has seemed to cause them so many issues. Whether it's a bad strat or just losing the players early on, it's caught them off guard, and they haven't been able to bring it back from it just yet here. Although, of course, Buxton is doing his best to try at that, but it's been unsuccessful. As we see, once again, he's wasting an entire clip there. It's been unsuccessful in trying to trade anything out.
By the enemies, yeah. Did you kill him by the walls? With the walls?
Buxton, though, the thing is he shot so many rounds off from this location that like whenever he peeks a window, he's got to exactly that. Be very scared because they're going to know exactly where he's shooting from. And it's very easy to hit those shots if you're Cannon Fodder here. That's a super long flank, if you want to call it that, out of University of Death. Also has Kev off to his side, who I believe is dead.
Looks like, yeah, he's in some downstate right now. UC is going to try his best.
Smoke? I would imagine he would have thrown it if he did.
Make it. I feel like it would make it blatantly obvious, though, is the problem. He's trying to do this a little bit more stealthily.
Crab walking.
He's got the syringe. It's the stab of life.
I wanted to see where he's going to stab him.
Did you get him? Yeah, he's up. He's up.
So back to a 3-on-5. All right. Thing is, that was a lot of time committed to just getting that player back up and running. And time is something they don't have a lot of here now with 1:40 left to go.
There's not necessarily anyone close to the uplink at this point either. They're really going to have to speed things up from this point forward if they want to have any hope of spinning this back around. A minute and a half, they pretty much just have to sprint straight to the uplink from this point forward here.
But RPT could be major into them actually taking this round if he can just flank in from this high, this north position. If he can do it sneaky-like, take down one player, then keep the pressure on from multiple angles to alleviate some of the pressure on that south and southeast side. Speaking of southeast, I mean, they're so far away from each other. At least these three players are the two here on the screen. He's have to pretty much RPT here wait for some teammates to move up. I mean, he's gained a lot of ground, to be fair.
That's my question, though. Is it enough? like I said before, there's not a whole lot of room here, and still got all 5 players alive for cannon fodder. Time is getting so low at this point. 45 seconds remaining. They have to try and get some kills here soon. They can't even hide in these buildings anymore. It's a solid like 20 seconds that they need just to get to the uplink, and then they're going to need another 5 to 10 seconds to
behind that wall, by the way.
Yeah, to input the code. That's if they want to go for the code.
Oh, I gotta do something here. 20 seconds to go. Still trying to get that frag.
That's been like their one mission this entire round. Has been to kill that guy, and they've not been able to do it.
Is anyone going for the uplink?
I think at this point they're just going to run the timer down. There's not really anything they can do. Unfortunately, they have spent so long in that 3rd player up, only to lose him again in this final battle. So time's going to run out. They're down to only 1 at this point anyway. RPT's probably going to end up in a bit of a fight, but it won't matter as the timer does run out. And through that, cannon fodder will pick up their opening round of this map, giving them 2 overall so far in the series, but still only 1 so far in this map. 2-1 though, very close, and could now potentially bring it back against Silent Purge.
I mean, it's still a victory, but I would not have felt good about that if I was cannon fodder. This is just literally them misjudging the timing again. I mean, yeah, they were in a 3-on-5, but for them to not even make an attempt for it in the last, like, 20, 30 seconds just kind of shows that they weren't really paying attention to it at all. They really were just focused on the man behind the wall, the king of the north. I guess he's king of that wall because they were not able to dislodge him from that at all.
Oh, and he's stuck with it pretty much the entire round. I think they finally did kill him at the end, if memory serves me correctly. But it became pretty much irrelevant at that point.
Because Jon Snow dies in the new season.
Wait, you just said it. Just gone and done it now. Yeah. What if someone who's watching the stream was binging it right now and you just ruined it for them?
And Jon Snow dies.
All right.
Like 3 times.
It's disappointing. Yeah. I'd be mad.
I think he should find another job if he can't. He's trying 3 times now.
All right, guys. The next round should be coming up in just a second. Just waiting on the players to ready up in between rounds.
Who's your favorite character?
Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
It's probably the dad on the Lannisters. I forget his first name.
Tyrion? Not Tyrion.
No. Tywin.
Tywin Lannister.
Yeah,
really?
That guy.
He's been in so many movies.
Yeah. That like, after watching that, I was a fan of his acting.
I like Tyrion.
Everybody likes Tyrion.
Okay, I don't like Tyrion.
Yeah.
I don't really like anyone actually in the show. I think the one I liked was the father of, oh my god, I can't remember his name. Of the Starks. He was cool. He was cool.
Yeah, but he dies in the first season. So.
Yeah, well, obviously, but he was cool. Going to now the 4th round here. Silent Purge still up 2-1. Still up 10-2 overall in the series, as you mentioned before, Blue. And they're going to be on the defense this time. I would imagine to send 1 player on the aggressive defense like they did in their first defending round. Really? Tywin?
Yeah.
But he dies.
So does your guy.
I don't like Khaleesi at all. I think she's
my guy made it
annoying.
further than your guy, though. My guy made it like 4 more seasons than your guy.
Wasn't even in the show until like the 4th season.
That's the strat.
But he still loses in 1 season. So technically they both made the same distance.
It's all about who stays alive furthest into the season. And my guy had a strat of coming in late. And he almost made it. Cannon fodder do lose one of their...
Just dropped in late, pulled the parachute early and
just
waited.
You know? It's like jumping out of the plane last in BR games.
What about the fat kid at the bar? They got left at the bar.
Oh, the pie guy.
Yeah, the pie guy.
I forget his name.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
I don't know. He wasn't in the show
Makes
enough.
good bread.
Apparently. That's not Purge.
Frodo, though, is my favorite. Since we're talking about fantasy.
Ron Weasley, I really appreciated his character.
Nah, I hated him. Joked around too much. But he got the girl. Even though Hermione's she's not that attractive. Emma Watson's not that great looking. I'm sorry. I know I just made a lot of enemies out there. But you know who also enemies? Silent Purge and Cannon Fodder into the 4th round now. Cannon Fodder, like you mentioned before I continued our Game of Thrones discussion, did lose out on a player really early on in the round. Seems to be the style of Cannon Fodder, to be fair. We've seen that happen on many rounds so far now. Again, look at the way Cannon Fodder looking to potentially attack. You're 1 man towards the very, very south. King of the North, furthest north at the moment. Looking for some White Walkers. That's what they're called, right? White Walkers?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Why White Walkers?
There's because there's two of them. There's because the White Walkers are, if I remember correctly, are like the crazy bad dudes. They're like the ones who have they're like the knights. Like
Yeah.
they're the ones who can actually summon the dead, and the zombies are just like whites, I think is what they're called.
Did you read the books?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought that's what that was.
I think I read like the first 100 pages of the first book. I'm not good with reading, so
Not good with words.
I'm not good with things on paper.
I'm not good at hallucinating, reading, or looking at a piece of dead tree.
Yeah. Pains me, you know? Feel for the tree every time I look at a piece of paper.
If only you could imagine what I'm thinking right now. Timmy in Europe looking to push it up. Timmy being very slow about this one, though. Again, trying to use the rocks towards his cover. As they're attacking here and only down a man. It's not the exact position you want to be in. But Cannon Fodder, I mean, that's their style. They play slow in the beginning, and then they start to collapse. They start to slowly edge their way forward as the time does tick away. It's just whether about how cleanly they can get there, and them already being down the one, it's not the ideal start for them.
Time has ticked away quite a bit. It's just under halfway now. Timmy. Still just snailing his way across the floor there. Slithering, you might be able to say, to be honest.
I was going to say Hufflepuffing, actually.
He just needs to, like, wiggle his legs a little bit. It'll be perfect.
Hey, you know, it's the tortoise and the hare, right? Slow and steady wins the race, and he's gotten to the Humvee now.
He's up to this very forward position, but actually, he can just go right into that building, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. But obviously, he doesn't know that, but as we can see, he could.
I think he's going to do it. Yeah, he's just trying to confirm that it's clear for him to make that push. He's jiggling a little bit. Now he's going to run it, though, so someone could hear him. You hear Buxton giving a call. I don't know if he outright heard him, though.
If I was playing, I would be such a jerk. Be like, yeah, I just heard some nerd come in my building, like really loudly, just to, like throw him off. Buxton, yeah, he
hears
knows.
him. Timmy hears him, though. He knows where he is because of that.
I bet it was that Timmy guy so bad. Like I would just do that to mess with people so much.
Oh, no.
I'd be like the worst teammate ever.
Buxton does catch Timmy. I think it's not Buxton that gets the kill, but the call does go out to his teammates, and they open fire on that window, quickly taking him out.
Oh, they in-capped him, and they in-capped someone else as well. And
another one
off with a grenade. I think that was. Yeah, he's dead. He's out of here. Now it's a 2-on-5.
Button trying to figure out what's left of his team after that. Him and King of the North that still stand here for Cannon Fodder. Otherwise, the round is by default here in a second going to go to Silent Purge. Only 50 seconds left for them to make a play. One of them does get caught rushing out, trying to change cover position, so it's just on King of the North now. Gives himself a little morphine injection to the finger to keep things rolling strong.
It's trigger finger.
Yeah, oh, yeah. So he's left-handed then. Now, oh, yeah, that's the unfortunate side.
Did he just nade himself? Or did someone just nade him? I saw him throw a nade out.
I feel like his nade went far enough to where that would...
But you didn't hear it explode, though.
Yeah.
Maybe he got shot and exploded at the same time.
I don't know.
I don't want to live in a world where he just naded himself.
But I feel like it's a very high possibility that he did nade himself, so...
I think so as well.
We'll save that one to be resolved by the video team.
To be honest, even though Silent Purge is winning, I actually really like the way Cannon Fodder are playing. Like, I think the basics they have of, like, coordinating attacks and, like, simultaneous smoking and, like, their execution is really good. It's just unfortunate because, like, it seems to be, like, they're missing a lot of, like, the subtleties of being able to push and knowing when to push. I don't know. Silent Purge, like, getting a kill within the first 30 seconds should, like, ideally never happen. You shouldn't put yourself in a position when you're attacking to be caught off guard like that. But I still really like, out of every team we've seen so far, the way Cannon Fodder execute. Like actual strategies. I mean, obviously we see teams be very quick and fast-paced, like boss fight earlier on, which is really cool. But in terms of like strat-wise, I've been really enjoying watching Cannon Fodder.
Well, we'll see if that's going to end up working for them to give them at least one more round here, as we'll be resetting it in just a second and heading into what could be now the final round of the map, with Silent Purge actually being at 3 points this time, as they seem to have like fallen into a time warp before and thinking that they got an extra point there somewhere. Now they're actually at 3 points. And only one more is needed for them to close out on this map and get the very dominant 12-2 scoreline against Cannon Fodder.
Well, let's see if they can pull it off here. As a kickoff, like I said, potentially our final round here. Silent Purge back on the attack. Their attacks haven't been too successful. The round they have lost so far was when they were attacking. I believe the round they lost on quarantine was them attacking too, was it? No, they were defending that one. Either way, it's only 2 rounds they've lost, so I can still be fairly happy about that. Look how quickly, though, Buxton and Death are actually pushing up towards this north side. Wow, look at the defenders, though. Like, they have 2 men to the north, 2 men to the southeast, and 1 towards the southwest. And they're trying to do almost like a buddy system, it seems, at this rate. Which is, you know, if you think about it, it's not a bad situation, because obviously if one of you get incapped, you can, you know, bring them back up to life. But then again, if you're too close, a 1 nade could just ruin your entire round and potentially match. And Strajak's been actually able to push up super far with the cover of his team.
It is still very split up, however, for Silent Purge, so I'd be cautious of them losing players at the beginning again, like we had happen on the last time they were attacking. It's the main thing they've got to watch out for here.
That's the downside to the strategy. The upside is they get a lot more information around the map and can clear a lot more angles with it. I guess that's the up and downside depending on like what strategy you want to go with. If you stick together, yeah, it's really hard to like take you all down and you have a good chance of keeping each other alive. But the downside is you don't have any more information than those 5 players who are stick together, you know, in that same area. So I don't know. I think I actually like this quite a bit, but I agree, like there's a big downside to if somehow Cannon Fodder like guessed the direction they were going and met them and finished them off, and that would put them at such a disadvantage in the round.
Well, timer will continue to run down a little bit here. So there's a bit of fire exchange between the 2 teams, not resulting in anything just yet here, but I think a player on the right side you can see from Cannon Fodder ends up seeing Buxton trying to make the move over towards the red truck here. He even calls on positioning too. They know that they've got someone across the way to deal with. I can't execute upon it just yet. As sadly, all their teammates, you guys might be able to see, are way out in the distance there. Pretty much on the opposite side of the map for them.
I was wondering if Cannon Fodder were going to use that same wall again. Actually, no, it wouldn't really fit this uplink position, I don't believe. They're able to catch Silent Purge off guard before. King of the North. He was definitely king of that wall in that round.
Yeah, that was the thing that like really killed them, is they had such a high focus on that it unfortunately led to them like exposing themselves a few times, losing players because of that, and then eventually they're just running out of time. And it's this time going to be a player from Cannon Fodder going down first off. They managed to pick him off. That was the player at the most southern extreme point for the team. And he will fall to the main group that's been pushing in from the south on Silent Purge.
Yeah, I think it was Adobo's partner in crime. He's got Europe, though, next to him at least to help out with. But he's got 3 men starting to pick up some pace, at least 2. Pushing across from south to north. They actually do get a long-range frag. Super long range, actually. And that was a key player, actually, out of Silent Purge to give him a lot of information to cover these 2 Strayjack and RPT to push up. There's still 2 players to the north pushing out of Silent Purge, and they're actually up against another 2 out of Cannon Fodder.
We've got to deal with this rooftop position first. I feel like RPT and Strayjack are not going to be able to get across with these 2 guys on the roof. No, if they're making a move for it, it could prove even worse here if they pop up and find them. So we're going to see no combat happening between the 2 just yet. That could change very, very soon. Some smokes coming up. Not exactly sure from which team using them just yet. There we go. Button once again holding a strong position. Picks off the first player on Silent Purge that tries to push out of that building on the north side. Brings that push down to only 1, and even worse, another player from Silent Purge finds himself downed as well So only 2 standing here now from Silent Purge. 3 if they could get that man up, although I think it's unlikely considering where he went down.
Oh, Stray Jack. He doesn't know that there's a man above him. Oh, he's gonna know now. He's gets shot in the crotch. And then she killed off there, and that's just pretty much up to the last man. RPT. There's a player up there, but again, it's so hard to attack into that when all Europe has to do is just defend his staircase. As long as he just protects himself, keep himself alive, the rest of the teammates can rotate over. I don't know how RPT's gonna hit the shot.
Very, very unlikely that he gets this kill if he goes with the stats. He doesn't have a choice.
No, he's gone. He's gone. There's no way.
And there's the pick, which will give Cannon Fodder the round, keeping them competitive, keeping them in the fight, and taking us to another round here. 3-2 is the scoreline as Cannon Fodder keep up the heat. Try to bring down the MMR gains a little bit here for Silent Purge, although they are looking to control the series overall. Could still be a little bit of interference coming in from Cannon Fodder on the scoreline, which will limit the amount of points they're going to gain in their MMR.
Surprised to see Cannon Fodder actually come back from that one. Losing out a player that early on, Blue, in like the first 30 seconds, again, 2 rounds back to back. The thing is, I want to know if it's the same player. I haven't been able to tell who it was, because that's got to get frustrating if that was you 2 rounds in a row. You know, kind of feeling like you let your team down in some sense. Obviously, they came back in this round, but either way, even with that 2-1 split that they did pull off, 2 to the east, or to the north side technically, 2 pushing from the south to the north, and then the 1 player sitting back, kind of give them some overall cover and some information, and potentially a return shot. Just wasn't enough. It was a good plan. Just didn't work out, at least in that sense. And Europe really came up big for his team as well, getting those 2 frags on the 2 players that entered his building.
So we'll reset and go again, guys, here in just a second. Only waiting on the players to ready up now. The planning phase. Obviously, with this game being as close as it was, we can imagine the players are going to take a few extra moments to strategize before they do get into the action.
We also have to keep in mind is that we've had a change happen too, at least with the broadcast, the game's being broadcasted, because usually you have way more time in the planning phase to discuss what you want to do, but we've actually limited it down to 2 minutes. So I think it was like from 5 to 2. So you really have to, like, you know, be concise with your communications, figure out what you want to do in the next attack, and then, you know, come up with that plan in only 2 minutes of time. It can be very difficult, especially if teams aren't used to that. Those birds must be tired. They've been flying.
They just fly in the same circle, man. They're vultures.
Like Alfred Hitchcock, what dream?
Well, here we go. Into it once again. And it's also Silent Purge on defense once again as well. Cannon Fodder jumping into an offensive position once more. And this is the long run.
I don't have a smoke on me. Talking about the one in the far? Oh no, I was gonna.
Oh.
I'll check something out there.
Didn't have a smoke on him, which maybe that's miscommunication. As his team has expected him to have one.
We'll find out how that affects things in a little bit here.
It's a very high position for King of the North. Trying to watch if anyone wants to push in from right to left on his screen. But no one's going for any cheeky flanks. I would imagine they wouldn't be going for anything super crazy here. Getting a little bit more of a different style in Silent Purge in the defense. As you see, they're a little bit more spread out across the uplink. Not going for that buddy system this time. Which again, leaves you very susceptible to being picked off, but at the same time, gives you more coverage of the area. A lot more information around the map in general. Cannon Fodder, they're going for the same kind of strategy we saw Silent Purge do in the last round, send those 2 players towards the east to north side. Or northeast side, I guess. And the way the arrows are looking at Silent Purge, pretty much everyone's looking south out of those top 2 players, so no one really giving much attention to these eastern side.
They more than likely will still change their gaze to it eventually.
Oh, yeah.
This has been the common route that even Silent Purge took on the last round too. They were also okay with kind of playing it across the main middle portion of the field here.
Plus timings too, like, you know, generally around when they're expected to be in that position, even if they, you know, run the entire time, and most likely they won't be actually doing that. Okay, just using these buildings to their advantage, trying to make sure to watch through these doorways. Cannon Fodder's going to run the clock out. This is what they seem to do. We haven't really seen them play super fast pace unless they get like 2 frags early on. They like to just run the time down, maybe try to make the other team make mistakes. Which again, like that's generally how you win when it comes to esports. It's the team that makes the fewer mistakes is the team that wins. And they're trying to force these errors, sorry, out of Silent Purge. But maybe trying to catch them getting too aggressive, maybe too cocky. But either way, the slow style that Cannon Fodder's playing, I mean, they're clearing all their angles, they're clearing all their corners. And I think slowly as the round does go on, they are gathering that information they need to figure out what their plan of attack needs to be to, you know, eliminate some of these players.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, I've never looked over there before. Too much detail.
So I can hear Kev talking a little bit. Not much being exchanged right now, though, as far as I can tell. And the teams have both gone kind of deathly quiet, both in their movement, along with, obviously, their exchange in fire.
Again, I mean, like Cannon Fodder, they really want to get these rounds, as you mentioned. MMR is going to be major when it comes to this match, since they're both so close to that 7th place position, 7th or higher position. No one wants to be the one to make the first mistake. And, you know, Silent Purge, they have not moved on the main map at all since they've been in this position in the beginning, in the first, you know, couple minutes of the round. It's up to Cannon Fodder to be the one to finally make the move. And that player who was sitting very south, King of the North, I think he's actually rotated to the east and then now towards the north side. There we go, opening things up. Looks like Cannon Fodder will lose out on a player trying to cross the street. It's going to pretty much put their plan in a halt here, stopping their plans in their tracks. As they've actually lost out on a second player, and even the double tap comes through. So now Cannon Fodder, who, you know, spent the first 4 minutes of the round just trying to get in positions, have lost 2 players before they can even fire off a single shot back.
Timmy's stuck, I'm pretty sure, too. He can't move from the truck position he's at right now. He's got someone to his right, and if he goes too far left, then he's going to be exposed, too. Even Europe has to kind of crawl in right now behind the wall to get himself into that position. He's going to go out. It's not going to be nearly far enough to find the impact unless it's just a smoke.
Yeah,
that was smoke. Never mind, yeah.
Maybe it's a distraction smoke, too, to get their eyes looking that direction. Oh,
it's not going to work, though. Through the window, he's going to get caught out by another member of Silent Purge, bringing Cannon Fodder down to 2. One of them is stuck behind the truck. That's Timmy, who will eventually have to try and get a push towards this building or something. But it just seems like another standard round that we've had play out here all too often between the two teams, where Cannon Fodders lose to far too many players too quickly, and it does not leave them with any room with which they can come back into the game with.
Well, Timmy's going to try it. He's being sneaky here. There actually is an opportunity where he could push across this giant open area without being shot. Just be a little bit careful of UC death, though. Or maybe it's like UC death. Like, I see dead people, you see death.
Yeah, could be that.
Yeah, that's what it is. One player left alive, though, King of the North. He's got 5 to find. Unfortunately, Timmy's gone down, and they will not pick up a single elimination in that round. And that will put Silent Purge up to 4, and Cannon Fodder only at 2, setting things up at 12 to 3 overall. Relatively close to where they were last time at 13 to 4.
Yeah, so with that, though, the series does go very much so into their favor. They take the victory and the potential points that come with that, and we will have to wait and see until the admins update the leaderboard to see if that's changed up their own position at all, and if it's put them into, say, like the top 7 where they would qualify for the LAN, or if maybe they're going to get an invite to a later portion of the open qualifiers. Maybe they could skip the first stage or something like that.
Maybe we're obviously going to find out. I think I want to say Silent Purge actually has been able to make their way through into the top 7 globally, which would allow them a position into the event in the UK. Obviously, their points hasn't been updated just yet. They're sitting at number 11. But the thing is, like, they're 10 MMR away from breaking through into 7th or above, or technically 8th or above.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Obviously, as that victory, I mean, that's a very one-sided win, and it's against a team that was relatively close to them as well in the standings. So we'll find out, obviously, a little bit later on. Of course, we still have more qualifiers to come up later on in the weeks with the open qualifiers. I believe in about 2 weeks' time. We have the UK event in the first week of September on the 1st and 2nd. We also have some Echo Arena coming up in the next few weeks as well, with the 12th as our first show, if I'm not mistaken. Then we have also, I think, like the 15th as another one. Something like that. We have a lot of VR to come up here, but that was a great game. It really was. I mean, again, even though Cannon Fodder lost, I still respect the way they played. I still think that was like one of the strategically best teams that I've seen so far and how they like execute, especially on the first map or on Bazaar, seeing them like do the double smokes and they had their plan to go, but they lost a player and had to like change things up. I think their core concept's good, but they did obviously struggle as time went on, especially when it didn't go their way.
Yeah, pretty much the same sentiments for me as we did see. It just seemed like in the long game they were a little bit more inexperienced when it came down to the wire there, and that's where their opponents would eventually take charge and be able to close out on the rounds. Like it seems like everything from like the basics perspective was working very well for them, but as soon as they came under pressure and started losing more than one player at a time, it all just fell to pieces for them, sadly, and that's where we saw their opponents take control of the majority of the rounds.
Luckily, we don't need to do much more analysis because we still have Nightfire on the line here, I think. I'm not sure if you can hear us. Oh, wait, can you hear us now?
We're
normally?
live. Yeah,
hey.
we're live.
How'd that get fixed?
I think it was magic.
So it was on
Good way
his
to
end.
explain it.
So it was on his end.
Yeah.
All right, well, okay, so why don't you break that down for us then? Let's just start off talking about, I guess, Cannon Fodder, since they're the team that unfortunately lost. I was still a major fan, as you heard me say before, in the way they did play, like strategy-wise, but what was your thoughts on them?
I think one of the more common trends that we saw in this entire series is that Cannon Fodder were constantly losing one early. They always had one go down early in a vast majority of their rounds, and I think that was one of their main detriments. Maybe they just have one person on their squad that's too overly aggressive, and they're peeking too many corners too quickly, but I think that was one of their main detriments. They did do relatively well on Bazaar. I liked their defensive setup when they were coming into the round, but I mean, Silent Purge, I think, just kind of smothered them with better tactics. They just played stronger.
Now, I think in this match we noticed much slower play than I think we've seen, obviously, in our match earlier today, or really any of the matches that we've covered in the last week or so. Is this more due to respect given between the two teams, or is this kind of an intentional way that these teams like to play, just basically draw it out for as long as possible?
I think it's a bit of a meme within the community that the EU teams play very slow.
Okay.
So this is sort of par for the course. They like to burn the clock. They like to wait out their time. Personally, I don't think it's the best strategy. I think utilizing your time and getting in a position early is something that ends up working out better for teams. You'll see Globochem play like that, but. Yeah, it's pretty regular to see these games go long in the EU games.
Well, we saw obviously that didn't work out for I think even both teams, where they had no time ever to get to the uplink at that rate, with how long they were taking to actually make that move across. Even on the last map there on Downfall, when we saw King of the North sitting behind the brick wall, it just seemed like Silent Purge was just focused on just eliminating him, and then they realized, oh, we have no time left, and they had no chance in that round as well.
Yeah, and I mean, it comes down to just kind of, I guess, the heat of the moment play. It's so easy to check your time. You have a watch on your left wrist or your non-dominant wrist, and you can easily turn that over and look at it and check the time. You don't have to pull out your pad to check time.
All right, well then, looking, I guess, at the maps, was there any particular plays that kind of stood out to you? Obviously, mentioning Cannon Fodder always losing, not always, but generally losing a player off the bat was a major downfall for them. But where do you think the major discrepancies were between the two teams? You obviously did mention that, Silent Purge, they were just able to smother them, but was like a core thing that was going wrong within Cannon Fodder then, or what would you kind of, give your analysis of what happened?
I think I just saw a lot. Actually, I saw a lot of unique plays coming out of Buxton. The flashlight play you guys kind of touched on a little bit. I'm pretty sure that was intentional, because I also saw it coming out on Downfall as well. So I think he's using that flashlight to try and draw attention from the enemy team. And I have never seen that before in the entirety of league play in all 5 seasons of it. So that's a new strategy right there coming out.
Yeah, someone actually, I think it was Arsenic in chat, was mentioning it, like, why does he have a flashlight out? And then, well, we obviously saw why in that one.
He was using it as like a celebratory thing at the end of the rounds, too, I was noticing, too. So I don't know if that was the main purpose, and he just tried to draw attention with it once, because we didn't really see it used after that one time. But he kept the flashlight on, so that was the weird thing for me.
I'd say that's pretty BM. If you take an attachment just to celebrate a little bit more fancy.
So real quickly, Luke, can you get up the global rankings on your screen one more time?
Sure
I would actually love to go to that and hear your thoughts, because obviously we have the UK Invitational coming up yet again in just a few weeks' time, the beginning of September. At the moment, with how the rankings do stand, this does not include the last victory we just had for Silent Purge. We've got Lemon Squad, Phoenix, SMC Tactical, and Danglers as the teams who would be going to the UK. So Nightfire, I'm just curious, in your opinion, who do you see to be the team to go out, and do you see like a really close matchup between any of those teams in the finals?
I am really looking forward to seeing how Lemon Squad perform on a stage. They've been doing very well this season. I'd say much better than they performed in previous seasons. And I think they can really run Boss Fight and some of these other higher level teams like the Danglers and SMC Tactical for their money.
And then, looking further down, 8 through the rest of the whole shebang we've got, do you think there's any teams in there? I would say maybe Pack 1 could be a team we could look at that can challenge beginners or Boss Fight, because they're going to have to most likely be teams that go through the open qualifier and would have to meet one of those 2 teams in the finals.
Yeah, I actually have butterflies in my stomach right now because I am on G-Men, and we have a match coming up. And I believe if we win it, we have a chance of pushing our ranking up into those top 7.
Oh, you have a match today? Oh, yeah, okay. So, I forget, you're actually like 6 hours behind us right now.
Yeah. So
well, that's not fair. If you qualify, then you can't cast. That screws us over.
Well, I think I'd rather be casting with you guys, and I've worked out that with my team. I'm just a sub. I'm subbing in for this upcoming game, but yeah, I'm a little nervous. I'd say my team's one of the better ones in that bottom ranking.
I can imagine it right now. We're sitting there. It's like you and me on the desk, and your team's like, all right, Nightfire, we need you to come in. And then I have to solo cast the entire game, and I'll just trash talk you. No, do obviously wish you the best of luck, and wish you the best of luck within the team. But yeah, sorry, I was just curious. Like, do you think G-Men have what it takes to challenge out against beginners in Boss Fight? Because it's basically to come down to just one best of 3 to see who's one of those teams going through to Oculus Connect 5. I mean, $60,000 on the line.
I don't know. These teams, they have ramped up their competitive edge so much. This prize money has just got them playing at another level. They're really practicing extremely hard and putting out all sorts of new strats. As of the last, I'd say 2 weeks, I've seen a variety of new strats. So I see a lot of teams testing new things out and prepping for these events. It's going to be pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to them.
And then the last little bit of question I have, Global Chem, can any team beat them? Honest answer, God's watching.
I do think so. They showed this season that they can lose maps. Granted, they lost only one the entire season, not series. I'm talking maps. They have only lost one map the entire season. So I don't know. They're very strong. They just don't lose maps. It might get close. We might see some 3-3s, some tie rounds, but I don't know. They're a very strong team.
I was hoping you would say you guys can beat them, because then I was going to make you put your money where your mouth is, and have a match go on. Blue, anything else you want to add before we do head on?
I think we covered everything.
Okay. Well, Nightfire, thank you very much for joining us and giving us your expertise over the course of today, and of course, very good luck in your match later on with G-Men. Who are you guys playing, by the way?
Phoenix.
Phoenix. Okay. And will that match be streamed?
I don't think so. I mean, I will on my own stream. Okay,
so then where can people see that streamed if anyone out there is looking for it?
It's Nightfire with 2 E's on Twitch.
There you go, Nightfire with 2 E's on Twitch. Make sure to check them out. Make sure to wish them luck as well. Thank you again, man, for helping us out, and hopefully we'll be able to see you in the UK just a few weeks' time. But for us, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, we've gone through the whole thing. We got the 2 games done today. We've had a very fast-paced action first game, and then the second one slowing things down as we moved our way over into Europe. And of course, we still have 2 more Onward show days, which I believe are the open qualifiers, if I'm not mistaken. We'll be covering. Obviously, don't quote me on that.
The very end of the open qualifiers, I believe, on the 24th.
Probably like the
and 25th,
last 2 matches of that one.
Yeah, semis and grand finals.
Yeah, I would imagine that one. Yeah. All right, well, thanks again to Intel, of course, for bringing this all your way. This has been the Master League coverage for the VR League, as we've been covering Echo Arena and Sprint Vector. And of course, on the 12th of this month, we'll be having an Echo Arena cast with Blue and some unnamed person, probably more handsome than me. Not easy to find, I know. But guys, thank you again very much for joining us from here, all in the caster desk, and of course in our production team. We've enjoyed it. Hope you guys have it as well, and we'll see you guys next time.